Hi, friends, and welcome to Season 3 of the School Librarian Learning Network podcast. I'm Steve Tatro, often known as Dr. T Loves Books, and I love talking about all things related to school libraries. I'm an old dog who's always trying to learn new tricks. That's why at each episode of the SLLN podcast, I'll chat with a school librarian about a lesson, program, or activity they love. Hopefully, this can be a place for school librarians to get ideas and find new ways to engage with their students and staff. Speaking of which, I'd love to hear about what you and your friends are doing in your school library. Email me at drtlovesbooks@gmail.com. That's drtlovesbooks@gmail.com to tell me about what you're doing, offer feedback about the SLLN podcast, or to request a podcast sticker. As Amy Herman likes to say, being a guest on a podcast is a great way to show your admins you are engaged in meaningful professional development and leadership in the profession. So drop me a line and let's chat. That being said, the opinions and ideas shared in this podcast by myself and my guests are our own and do not reflect those of our school districts. I just like to geek out about school libraries. So without further ado, let's get to this week's episode. Hey everybody, I am back and I've got a new friend and I'm very excited to hear about this cool thing that I saw she had posted about. But once again, I always jump ahead. I need to just back up a step and say, welcome, Dr. Heather Thore. So glad you can be here. Why don't you take a second, tell us about who you are, where you're at, what you're doing.
Thank you. I am excited to be here. Yes, I am Dr. Heather Thore. Recently earned my doctorate, so I'm really excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I am a school librarian in South Carolina. I actually got my start teaching in elementary, and after a couple of years, I realized that's not where I wanted to retire from the classroom. So, yeah, I got my library degree from the University of South Carolina while I was teaching second grade.
Okay.
Yes, and then got my start in school libraries right before I graduated. So, yeah.
Love that. Was there anything in particular that brought you to the school library from the classroom, or was it just sort of like that's where you saw yourself going?
Yeah, so my second year teaching, going into my third year, I was thinking about how much I really enjoyed technology and helping teachers as well as the students in my classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And my principal at the time just happened to say that she thought I would make a good librarian whenever our current one retired in a couple of years. Yeah, so I was just like, how serendipitous, because I was thinking that and never said anything about it out loud. So yeah, that's when I decided it was time, and I started working on my degree. And
Love that. What a great, I think that's a testament to how much you're working with your staff and your students, that your administrator said, hey, this might be something you can do that's going to help everybody out. That's so great.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Then she ended up retiring a year early, so I wasn't finished with my degree yet, but I still saw her every now and then for a couple years after I got my degree, and so she was really proud that I did become a librarian after we had talked about it. So yeah,
that's awesome.
It's a good time.
Oh man, that's a great origin story. I mean, I love that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And like from there, it was kind of exciting because my first library job was at an elementary school, right close to the school where I started teaching at, the same district. And I worked there for 1 year. And then the second year, they transitioned from an elementary, so from K-5 to a primary school. So kindergarten to second grade. And all the third through fifth graders went to Varennes, which is the school that I was a teacher at formerly. Yeah. So after 1 year of just working with K through 2, I was like, okay, I miss my older students. I miss my research skills. And then I started looking for a middle school position, and one opened up, and I've been middle school ever since. That
Go
was
middle
20.
school.
Yes, I love middle school.
Yes, me too.
It's
I
just
couldn't
awkward
really handle
and
the younger ones. Yeah, they're so great
yeah.
though. Like
Yes, they
awkward, but
are.
like every day you might get a completely different kid, even though it's the same kid. Like you gotta love it.
Exactly. Yes. It is wonderful. I feel like it's a good middle between the elementary and the high school. So
Yeah,
I enjoy it a
love it.
lot. Yes.
So the thing that I saw online, I have been kind of starting to poke around on Instagram a little bit, and it hasn't been my main place to be. I spent most of my time on Bluesky, but I saw your account on Instagram and you had all these cool things going on. And the one that just really leaped out at me just was so fun. And like, it just the visuals of it grabbed me with there was so much joy in what was going on in the visuals of it. So I really wanted to talk to you about this. And I'm just kind of curious, like, before we get into the details of it, like, where did this come from? Like, what was the origin of this event?
Um, so this school year we got a new principal. He actually previously worked with us as an assistant principal. And over the summer we set up a meeting and he was talking to me and asked if I would take over our school's Instagram page. Um,
Okay.
and the guy who was in charge of it previously had done a 180 Days of Rams initiative. Um, Rams is the acronym for our school, Robert Anderson
Okay.
Middle School. It's
Gotcha.
also our mascot, so we're the Rams. um,
Okay.
so basically, he posted pictures of the classrooms and things that were going on every single school day. So I knew that this would be like a really big undertaking that he was asking me to do. That means that I would have to be out of the library and going into classrooms every day, just to capture the instruction, the projects, and all the special activities,
That's
in
a lot.
between all the regular responsibilities. Yeah. um, but so like it took me a day or two to think about it. But they've also gotten me to be the webmaster for our school webpage.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah. So I started thinking, I was like, well, if I'm taking pictures every day, then it'll be really easy for me to get really good pictures for our website. So
True.
sure, why not? I'll just
Yeah.
go ahead and do
Yeah.
it.
Just start rolling it all together. That's how
Exactly.
projects in my house go, is we say, we're going to just do this one little thing. And then all of a sudden it's, well, that's connected to this and that's connected to this. So why don't we just redo the whole house?
Exactly. Yep. So it works.
Love it.
So the guy before me, and like on top of the pictures, every now and then he would do like finish the lyric type prompts, getting kids to like sing songs or whatever. I'm not really the singing and song type. So I talked to some of the student helpers that we have. We call them student ambassadors. And they were like, yeah, Finish the Lyric is kind of like last year. Like, that's not really popular anymore. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about that. But I was trying to think of different ways to kind of break up what could be potential monotony of just pictures of students in classrooms every day.
Mhm.
And just came up with a nice little alliteration of Mini Mike Mondays.
Love it.
Yeah,
Now, I
so it
have to
helped me
know
keep a
just from,
routine.
yeah,
So
I
like
bet.
on Mondays, I'm like, I'm going to go ask kids questions. And then the rest of the week, I'll do pictures. So that was nice.
I've got to know, where did the mini mic come from? Like maybe it's just me and I'm just old and a fossil and have not seen this, but like, I have not seen this little tiny microphone before. It's so cool.
Oh, it is great. I just went onto Amazon. I have a little bit of an Amazon addiction. But I just went onto Amazon and I typed in mini microphone for phone.
Hmm.
And they came up, like the results came up with a lot of tiny microphones that just plug into your cell phone.
That
And
is
one,
so cool.
it's comical. seeing kids and adults, especially holding this little like 2-inch microphone.
It 100% is. I love it.
It's great. But then it also blocks out some of the background noise, and amplifies the person holding the microphone.
Right.
So I tend to go in and ask questions during lunchtime in the cafeteria, because I don't want to go into classrooms and interrupt instruction.
Sure.
And I don't want to delay our hallway transitions by asking kids in the hallway. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes you'll see kids walking down the hall. Usually they're on their way back from lunch. And they'll see me holding the mic and they're like, "Hey, Miss Thore, can I answer the question?" And so I'll just walk with them down the hall while they're going back to the class. But yeah,
Speaks
the microphone
to how
takes
much
out.
they are enjoying what you're doing. Like, that's so great.
Yes,
That they're
yes, I
approaching
love
you
it.
about it. Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes I walk into the cafeteria and like kids will see me holding the mic with my phone and they'll wave me over. And then some kids will kind of hide their face because they're like, "I don't want to be on Instagram." I'm like, okay.
No problem.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And because, I mean, we know the cafeteria can get pretty loud, the microphone does a good job of backing or like blocking all that out. And some of the kids hold the mic really close to their mouth, and so their voices are really super loud. But
Great opportunity to teach some
yeah,
like media literacy lessons. Like, hey, here's how we use some of this
exactly.
stuff.
Exactly. Like we don't have to put the microphone all up against our lips.
Maybe there's a health lesson in there too.
Exactly. Yes. Well, definitely need to work on that
So,
with some of them.
so where do you come up with like the things that you're going to be talking to them about or asking them about? Is there a particular like thread or theme or place you go to come up with these, or is it just sort of whatever springs to mind?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the year, I came up with a list of random questions, like asking the kids who their favorite teacher is, which restaurant has the best burgers.
Mm.
Our principal's birthday happened to fall on a Monday this year, and so I asked them what year our principal was born.
Boy, you like taking your life in your own hands there.
Yes, I did ask him for permission first, just to make sure. So he thought it would be really fun and entertaining. And at the very end of that session, I actually went to him and I asked him what year he was born. So at the end of all the clips, he shares the real answer.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that was fun.
Nice. Well, that's cool.
So yeah, sometimes I take topics that I hear teachers or kids talking about, and I'll turn that into the question.
Gotcha. That's a great
I
thing too, is
asked,
like grabbing
yeah,
onto the whatever's going on in the community and making that part of the ongoing thread.
exactly. At one point, we had a big discussion between the kids and the teachers of how old someone should be before they get a cell phone. So that one sparked some really good answers.
Yeah. Man, I could see this being a
Yeah.
great tie-in with like social studies or English or, really any of your subjects, but like especially with those sort of argumentative or persuasive topics as sort of a
Yes.
seed to start a piece of writing or to, do some research on. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yes. It really has a wide variety of uses. And
Yeah.
I really like that because sometimes I'll look at my pre-made list of questions and I'm like, I'm not in the mood for any of that today. And so I'll ask our student ambassadors, like, what do you think I should ask today?
Mm,
And let's
I
see.
love that.
Oh,
Anytime we can give them a chance to have that voice and sort of participate in the creation of things, love it.
yes.
Absolutely love it.
Oh, one of the more random questions a student told me to ask was, what color is math? The kids
So
absolutely loved that one.
yes, I have heard raging debates about this in school, not this year, but last year and maybe the year before. Just what color is math and what color is science and what color is English. And like
Yes.
I mean, everybody knows that English is blue, science is green, and math is red. So I don't understand.
Yes, I
I'm sure there
agree.
are people yelling at their phones right now, yelling at their podcast addict apps.
Yes. There were some people who were very adamant, but I'm like, math is red. And I feel like that was the answer most of the students gave. But every now and then they would say something completely off the wall. And I'm just like, why?
But I love like that kind of conversation. Like you're asking the question, but it seems like you usually ask it when there's a group of students around. So they're sort of hearing each other, and sometimes they're responding to each other, which I love, because
Yes.
that gets such a conversation going between the students that maybe they weren't going to have before. And like, I don't have Mini Mike Monday, but I've got a would you rather board in the library, and it's A or B every day.
Yes.
And the conversations that get going about this, like between the students, and just the silliest things, but they get so into what they're talking about. And I love seeing that, because it's such a great way for the students to engage with the library, sure, but like the library's in getting them to engage with each other. And I think that's the most important thing. So this is like another level to that you are able to not just have them having that conversation between each other in the library, but now you're bringing it to the school or bringing it to an audience, which is awesome. Like that's such a great way to put the students front and center, and sort of also like a low key way to sort of be like, this is also something the library does. Like, hey, so just so many great things going on there.
Yes.
Love it.
It
Absolutely
is
love it.
a lot of fun. That's for sure.
So is this your first year doing Mini Mike Monday?
It is. It is.
Okay.
My first year being in charge of the Instagram page, my first year doing Mini Mike Monday.
Gotcha.
I
Now,
feel
I
like
am not
next year we might have
Instagrammer.
to switch it up. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, that was going to be my next question, was like, having been through half a year of it now, are there things that you're sort of like noticing, learning, or like things I want to rework a little bit for next year?
I really don't know. I feel like asking different questions kind of changes it up already week to week.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll ask serious questions, and usually if there's a serious question, I'll ask them ahead of time so they can think about it before I hit record.
I like that.
But if it's something silly, I'll just hand them the mic and be like, all right, how many days have we been in school? And that was actually on our 67th day of school.
Oh,
and so
of course.
I knew the kids would love 6, 7. Oh gosh. Yeah. So I don't know.
That's
I feel
awesome.
like when this year starts to come to an end, I'll probably again go to our student ambassadors and ask for their opinion on if we should do it again next year or if I should do something different. But again, because it's like it's open to interpretation. Mini Mike Monday could literally be anything.
Yeah.
Because it's just a microphone that I use on Mondays. So,
which is great. Like,
yeah.
and like you said, it sets up a schedule. Like in Mini Mike Monday, we know when it's going to happen. And yet once a week, that's a relatively low lift. Like, even though we've got a lot going on, I mean, you've got a lot going on with library and web page and Instagram, but like, I like that you've sort of given yourself some flexibility and some freedom to be able to take a breath in between. And it's not like you're trying to produce these every day. So that's very clever. I like that. And I mean, let's see, Mondays, we got 40, maybe 40 Mondays in a school year ish.
Right.
So
yeah. So we are out a lot on Mondays and Fridays. So that helps me a little bit, but
okay. There's no Mini Mike Monday follow up on Tuesday. It's just, if we miss it, we
Monday.
miss it. That's gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
That's great.
So it's I feel like it takes some of the pressure off of me, because if I have a really busy Monday, I know, I'm going to go around and ask kids questions. I don't feel the pressure of trying to get the pictures from the classroom to post on Instagram.
Gotcha.
Because if I'm teaching classes, like there are times when I'm seeing 8 Yes, 8 classes in a day. And
Wow.
it's kind of hard to go get
Yeah.
pictures of other goings on when I'm doing all
Seriously.
that.
Wow.
So yeah, our school is very large. Right now we have about 1,100 middle schoolers. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so there are a lot of faces that I want to get on Instagram. Like, I don't want to be interviewing the same kids every Monday and
Hmm.
going into the same classes and seeing the same kids. So that's another thing that I try to do, um, is I try to make a very conscious effort to go into different classrooms when I take pictures. And when I go into the cafeteria, I try to remember, okay, which section did I go to last week? Let's hit a different section so we get different students on camera. Um, so yeah, I definitely want the kids and our whole community to be able to see all the kids who want to be seen at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you are making that conscious effort to make sure you're not just highlighting the same kids over and over again. And the fact that it's not going on in the library is probably beneficial in that way, because I know that I tend to get the same kids in the library all the time. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
a dedicated group
Yes.
of library users, and then there's kids that I probably, if I see them outside of class once in the library, it's a miracle. So I love that you're
Yep.
making that like concerted effort to say it's not just going to be these kids. We're going to try and get everybody involved. That's
Mm-hmm.
great.
And every now and then, when classes come to the library, I'll have a kid who normally isn't a frequent library user. They'll ask me, "What's the question going to be next week?"
That's
So
great.
yes, they might not be coming in to get a new book every couple of days, but at least they're seeing me as somebody that they can talk to and interact with. And so we're getting there. We're getting
That's awesome. And I
somewhere.
mean, that's all
Yeah,
you can ask for is
right.
kids that feel like the library is a place they can come and talk to the adult that's in the space. So
Exactly.
you're doing that. You're fulfilling the mission in that sense, which is great. I love that. Man.
Thank you.
I mean, it's funny because on the one hand, it's a very straightforward exercise of what you're doing here, is taking this mic around and just asking them questions that may or may not be silly, but
Right.
there's so many excellent elements that are going on in there that are really helping to kind of bring the students into being a part of the school, which I think
Yes.
can be real easy to overlook sometimes. Like, we get the kids in the school, but we don't always make them feel like they're part of the school. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what you're doing with this, by asking them their thoughts, sharing them, and then making them a part of the story of the school. Like,
Yes.
it seems so simple, but that's super powerful. And I just love that you're doing that. It's so cool.
Thank you. Um, our One of our previous principals was really big on, we should be the ones telling the story of our school. Um,
Mm,
because our school is one that doesn't have the best reputation in the community. 1,100 middle schoolers in one building. Uh,
yeah.
it's also a Title I school, and so we don't have the best reputation. And the things that normally get talked about outside of the school building are usually the negative things.
Hmm.
Um, and so we're trying to take control of that narrative and show the fun things that happen in the school, um, some of the fun activities that we do, and just letting the kids' personalities come out. Like you said, whether it's a silly question or something serious, uh, the kids get to share their thoughts. And I do minimal editing. Is like, whenever you watch, you can probably hear, because some kids are really loud and some are really quiet. Um, because it is so time intensive, I'm like, I'm
Hmm.
just not going to edit. I will just shorten a clip if it's too long to go on Instagram, or I
Hmm.
will cut out something where like a kid messes up, or if they just sit there holding the mic for 30 seconds. Um,
Hmm.
but those are like the only edits I do, really. So it's it's just them and their true, authentic voices that they're putting out there. Um,
I'm a huge
I
fan
like it.
of less polish, less edit, like just show what's
Yes.
really going on, or, here's what the actual situation is. It's not Instagram perfect. It's not, social media
Mm-hmm.
perfect. it's the reality of the thing. And what you're doing with the students is, I love it. It's just so great. It really
Yes.
is.
Hashtag no filter.
Yeah. Well, there's something to be said for that sometimes. So great, man. And so you are making a concerted effort to kind of get different, make sure you're getting a really good picture of the whole population at the school. And I'm kind of curious, do you have like any kind of an ELL population at your school?
Yes, we do. I wish I had our numbers pulled up. We have maybe 15%, 15 to 20% of our students are
Okay.
English language learners.
Wow.
Um,
So
yes,
that's
we
a
have a
pretty good,
lot.
yeah.
Yes, we have a lot of Spanish speaking students. But in recent years, we've gotten a lot of Russian and Ukrainian students,
Mm.
a
Mm-hmm.
couple like Haitian Creole. I'm trying to remember some of the others, but yeah, the ELL population has definitely been growing a lot lately.
So I'm curious in terms of Mini Mike Monday, like, do you, maybe you haven't had the chance yet. I don't know, but like, is there a way you're approaching Mini Mike Monday with them in any way? Or have you got ideas about how you might?
That is a great question. There have been a couple of times where I've asked the question and then one student translates to another.
Oh,
Um, and
love
so
that.
like the other student will answer in usually it's Spanish. Um, and then like the other student will translate back in English. Um, but that's a really good
That's a
question
great,
because I feel like I'm using Duolingo and trying to learn more Spanish since that is our biggest ELL population. Um,
mhm.
I should definitely practice my Spanish and ask a Mini Mike Monday question in Spanish.
Well, I mean, but it's also a great opportunity, just even thinking about if you ask a student who can translate for you and you have that back and forth through the translator, that's also a really interesting thing to sort of showcase is that, maybe not all of our students are super um, comfortable speaking English, but we do
Mm-hmm.
have these other ways of communicating. And also a great way for the other student body to see, like, these are people who have thoughts and feelings and ideas too. And just because you may
Mm-hmm.
not understand their spoken language doesn't mean that they are not people that we can, interact with and that are part of our school community. So that you're bringing them in, even through translation, I think that's great.
Thank you. We do
Yeah.
have a few English speaking students who come into the library asking for books to help them learn Spanish. Um,
It's
so I think
awesome.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I've had some of our Ukrainian and Russian speaking students come in and ask me for books in their language. And
Hmm.
those are really hard to find.
Yeah.
I'm working on a collection. We have a couple, um, but
I've been trying to do the same.
it's,
We had some
yeah.
students that came from some very different kinds of extractions, and I've been trying to figure out where can I source stuff for them, but
Hmm.
it can be tricky.
Especially the different dialects, which
Mm,
I didn't realize. Um, one of our eighth grade students asked me about it, and I looked and I was like, well, I can have Harry Potter special ordered for you in that language for about $90 a book. And he was like, oh,
mhm.
no, no, that's not worth it. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was trying to get some Brazilian stuff for a student last year, and it was, oh boy, so much Spanish stuff, which is great. But
Yes.
like, I
What
would,
about the others?
yeah, and like I would pull up a page of stuff that was supposed to be Brazilian, and there would be some Spanish titles in there, and she'd be like, oh no, no, not that. So
Yeah.
it was a little bit of a challenge. And funnily enough, I managed to get together like half a dozen titles and some ebooks and stuff. And just as I got them all in, she moved to a different school. And I was like, oh, man, but
Yeah.
at least I've got
Yeah.
them for the next student who comes through. So at least they're there.
Exactly. I tell myself that exact same thing because it happens a lot,
Hmm.
or they transfer in, and by the time they feel comfortable telling me what they're interested in, I
Yeah.
find the books and they're on to high school or something. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of your Mini Mike Monday questions is, how many other languages do you speak? And see
ooh,
what kind of reaction you get from different populations. That might be
yeah,
because I
that
bet you
is
some of your
true.
ELL students are probably already speaking 2 or 3 languages before they're picking up English. So,
Yes,
like,
you're right. Like a lot of them, like if they are actually born in a different country, a lot of them are already bilingual at least, and then they
hmm
come to America and learn English, and it's very impressive.
yeah, it really is. I tell you, some of our ELL students blow me away with what they're accomplishing, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole other
They're so
conversation we
smart.
could have. But
Yes.
well, I love Mini Mike Monday. What a great thing. What a great way to get the students engaged and involved. And since you brought up, might as well use this as our segue. Since we talked about finding books for students in other languages, let's talk about books. It's time for our book break.
Book break. Squiddy.
So,
Yay!
when we get to the book break, any kind of book you want to get on people's radar, personal, professional, staff, students, yourself, whatever it might be. Maybe it's after you come in from building a snowman outside, come in and warm up with a good book, whatever. What do you got that you think people might want to have on their radar?
Well, since I just finished up my doctorate, I
Mm-hmm.
really like the Restorative Practices Playbook as a professional development book. Um,
Okay.
it has a lot of like take and use ideas to interact with your students and to build high quality relationships with your students,
Hmm.
um, especially some of those we might call more difficult. The students who tend to get in trouble. Um, it just has a lot of really good ideas for interacting with those students that may seem like no brainers and common sense. Um, but unless we intentionally do them, we're not really developing relationships with those students.
Right.
Um, like one example that to me is a no brainer, but it gets left behind a lot are impromptu conversations outside of the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have those students who are really easy to talk to and we get along with very well. And so we see them in the hall or after school and we ask them about their dog or their sister or whatever they're interested in. Um, but we have to make a conscious effort to make that connection with students who might not be as open with us or
Mm-hmm.
the student who might drive us crazy in the classroom. Um, so yeah, that,
That's a great point. Huh.
yeah, that's,
Like you said, no brainer,
uh,
and yet.
exactly. Yeah. And
Hmm.
so the book is, because it is a playbook, it's full of ideas like that. Things like teaching classroom expectations and how expectations in the classroom are different than expectations at home.
Mm.
And, if you teach those expectations explicitly and how they're very different or they might be different, um, it really sets the students up for success instead of
Yeah.
just being, especially in middle school, like, oh, you're in middle school, you should know to walk in a line and to put your name on your paper and whatever. They don't
Mm-hmm.
do that at home.
Right.
So, yeah. But
And
yeah,
I think
that's
too, it's especially easy for educators who've been in the practice for a while to you've done certain things. So I am speaking maybe purely for myself here. I will speak for myself and nobody else. As an educator who's been in for a long time, there are things that I feel like I have said 1.5 billion times. And so I must have said them to these kids at some point,
right.
except maybe I didn't. So
Uh huh.
it's important to sort of raise that to the conscious level and say new school year, starting from scratch, these kids don't know you. They don't know the expectations. Even if they've been in the school for a year, 2 years, if they don't know you personally, they may not know how to interact, what's expected. So
Right.
like you said, bringing it to that conscious level and being very explicit about things, probably a really good idea for all our students at whatever grade level we're at, and especially whatever teaching level we're at.
Hmm.
That's a great, I'm really glad you brought that up. That's a really good
Oh,
point. Boy,
thank you. So
oh,
yeah,
I
that's a good one.
forgot to, I forgot to ask before, what is your doctorate in?
It is in curriculum and instruction,
Okay.
and my research was on culturally responsive pedagogy and the effects on student discipline.
Nice. That's a very rich field and very incredibly worthwhile and rewarding and useful, like very practical.
Yes.
Love
Yes,
that.
because, we always have the referral rates that are looked at, and we look at, like, which students are constantly getting in trouble, and we have to stop and think about why are they getting in trouble and what are the root causes. And we're at school, so we're with them a limited amount of time. So what can we do to help them do better in school and be successful with our limited abilities within the school? Because we can't parent
Absolutely.
them, but we can try to help them be successful by understanding where they're coming from and making some adjustments based on the trauma that they may have experienced.
Yeah. And I think a lot of educators are not, I'm not a particularly trauma-informed educator. Like, I have learned things about it over the past several years, but I'm not versed in it very well. And I certainly don't feel like I've had trauma in my life that I had to deal with. So interacting with those students, who I feel there's a greater number of them these days than there maybe were in the past, or maybe I just hadn't had it brought to a conscious level before, but like, definitely we've got students who need that extra understanding and that extra consideration on our part. So
Yes.
that's a really important field. Boy, you're hitting on all cylinders here, Dr. Thore. I love it. This is great. Boy.
Thank you. I love the trauma-informed teaching, and I think that is really important because what somebody considers trauma might not be trauma to somebody else. Like growing up in a single-parent home might not seem like it's trauma, but it affects the way you were raised and the way you see some of your authority figures. So as educators, we need to definitely know how to adapt and how to work with students coming from all these different backgrounds.
Absolutely. Boy, just you're throwing so many ideas into my head. This is so great. I love this. This is so wonderful. Well, I know I'm not the only person who's going to want to be able to follow up with you, because you've got so much great things, so many things going on that are awesome in your library, but also just so many great ideas and thoughts here. So if people want to come finding you online, where should they go looking?
So on Instagram, I can be found at Thorbrarian. And you can also reach out to me through my work email. That's the most consistent that I see all throughout the day. And that is Heather Thore at Anderson5, the number 5.net. Yeah.
I have a feeling you're going to be getting a lot of messages and a lot of follows here, because just spitting wisdom left, right, and sideways. I love it. So great. So great. I'm so glad we got to do this. And thank you so much. Audience, I'm going to give you a little bit of a peek behind the curtain here, because Dr. Thore and I tried to record this a week or so ago and had nothing but technical issues. And she was kind enough to persevere and come back. And we had more issues today, and she still came back and still powered through this. So thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to come and share.
Thank you. I appreciate your enthusiasm. It's very motivating.
We do what we can. We all work together, and I tell you, you have just filled my head with so many great thoughts and ideas here. I'm really looking forward to taking this back and helping it shape what I'm doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the SLLN podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes for the episode. They feature links to resources shared by our guest, as well as ways to keep in touch with them, and links to the book break titles. I'd love to hear from you. If you have feedback, a comment, an idea, a question, or something you want to share, you can email drtlovesbooks@gmail.com. That's drtlovesbooks@gmail.com. Know a librarian with something we could learn from? Let us know. Until next time, be good, be safe, and be well.